Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into some fantastic films you might not have heard of?
Always ready for a good film deep dive.
Me too. Especially when it comes to those hidden gems, the ones that don't always make the headlines.
Yeah, exactly. Those indie darlings.
Yep. So today we're going to be checking out this article titled Top 5 Must-See Independent Films of 2024. Hidden Gems You Can't Miss.
Ooh, sounds promising.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I think it's a perfect reminder that there's so much more to cinema than just the big blockbusters.
Couldn't agree more. Indie films often offer such a unique perspective, right?
They really do.
Yeah.
They just have this way of exploring human experiences with a level of depth and nuance that, well, sometimes gets lost in those big budget productions.
I think it's the freedom they have to experiment and take risks.
You're right. They're not beholden to the same commercial pressures, so there's more room for creative expression. Okay, so let's jump into this list.
Let's do it.
The first film that caught my eye is Seven Roses, a thriller drama directed by Bobby Washington and Cindy J. Washington.
Oh, a husband and wife directing duo. I love that.
Sounds like an interesting collaboration, right? The film follows a man on a quest for redemption as he uncovers dark secrets.
Intriguing. The article talks about how the Washington's direction creates this incredible sense of suspense.
Oh, I bet. That's always so crucial in a thriller.
Absolutely. They really draw you into the protagonist's journey as he struggles with guilt, forgiveness, and the weight of those secrets he uncovers.
Ooh, sounds like it'll keep you on the edge of your seat.
Definitely.
Okay, next up we have Past Lives, a romantic drama by Celine Song.
I've heard great things about this one.
Me too. It revolves around two childhood friends who reconnect years later and start to grapple with all those what-ifs about their past.
The paths not taken, the roads less traveled, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And the article calls it a masterclass in restrained emotion, which really piqued my interest.
Mine too. I love when films explore those quieter, more subtle emotions.
It makes you wonder if that focus on subtlety is a deliberate choice by indie filmmakers, almost like a way to differentiate themselves from the more over-the-top, melodramatic love stories we sometimes see in mainstream cinema.
That's a great point. I think it's about creating a more intimate connection with the characters, letting the audience fill in some of the blanks.
Yeah, it's like they're trusting the audience to understand the depth of those emotions without needing everything spelled out for them.
Exactly. Okay, what's next on the list?
All right, this one's a little different. After Sun, a drama directed by Charlotte Wells, takes us on a summer vacation with a father and daughter.
Sounds heartwarming.
It is, but there's a twist. The story is told through the daughter's memories as an adult. So it adds this whole other layer to their relationship and how she perceives it looking back.
Fascinating. I love films that play with memory and perspective like that. It always makes you question what's real and what's been filtered through the lens of time.
Right, like what details has she held onto all these years and why?
Exactly. It's like those home videos we watch years later, suddenly seeing them with new eyes.
I love that analogy. It's so true. Okay, get ready for this next one. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. A sci-fi adventure film from directors Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
I saw the trailer for that one. It looked wild.
It does. It throws us headfirst into the multiverse, following a woman who experiences countless versions of her life across different dimensions.
Whoa, talk about an identity crisis.
Right. But even with all that, the article emphasizes how the film still manages to tell a deeply personal story about identity, choice, and those infinite possibilities of life.
It sounds like it's much more than just a mind-bending special effects extravaganza.
Definitely. It's exploring some pretty deep themes within that sci-fi framework. Okay, and last but not least, we have Causeway, a drama directed by Leland Neusbauer.
Another one I'm eager to see.
This one explores the journey of a soldier recovering from a traumatic brain injury as she tries to rebuild her life.
Sounds like a powerful story.
It does. And it's not a topic you see explored that often in film, at least not with this kind of depth and sensitivity.
I think those are the stories that often resonate the most, though, the ones that shed light on experiences we might not fully understand.
Absolutely. The article highlights how Causeway offers this intimate portrayal of trauma and healing, driven by the incredible performances of Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry.
They're both such phenomenal actors.
But they are. It sounds like this film really showcases their talent and emotional range.
Can't wait to see it.
Me too. So, there we have it. 5 indie films spanning various genres and themes, all united by their commitment to powerful storytelling and exploring the depths of human experience.
It's a great reminder that there are so many incredible films out there waiting to be discovered, and they don't always have to come from those big Hollywood studios.
Exactly. Sometimes the most impactful stories are the ones that come from a place of passion and a desire to share a unique perspective.
And that's what makes this deep dive so exciting. I'm ready to unpack each of these films and see what gems we uncover.
Me too. I have a feeling we're in for a treat with these films. I'm ready to dig deeper into these films. Starting with Seven Roses,
Yeah.
what stood out to you about how the Washingtons used their directing to build that suspense?
Well, the article mentions how they use visuals, to amplify the tension.
Like specifically what kind of things?
They talk about their use of shadows and close-ups and the way they cut between scenes to heighten the unease.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about the plot itself, but how they present it visually.
Exactly. They're playing with our expectations, drawing us deeper into the protagonist's headspace as he's wrestling with all this guilt and trying to find redemption.
It's like the visual style itself becomes a reflection of the character's inner turmoil.
Yeah, and that's what makes it more than just your average thriller. It becomes a psychological exploration of these really complex themes.
Now let's talk about Past Lives. We touched on how the film excels in its restrained emotion, something that seems to have resonated with viewers. What do you think it is about that approach to storytelling that captures our attention so effectively?
I think it's the authenticity.
Yeah.
By stripping away all the melodrama, the over-the-top displays of emotion, the film allows us to connect with the characters in a much more intimate way.
It's like we're getting a glimpse into their raw, unfiltered feelings.
Right, and it makes those feelings all the more powerful because they're not being forced on us. We feel their longing, their regret, all those unspoken desires without it being explicitly stated.
It's like we're eavesdropping on a very private conversation.
Exactly. And that kind of intimacy is what draws us in, makes us feel invested in their journey.
After Sun, a film that really explores the bittersweet nature of memory, the way it captures those seemingly ordinary moments of a family vacation, only for them to take on a whole new meaning through the lens of time. It's really remarkable. The article highlights how the film's power lies in its subtlety. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the subtlety is key to its impact. It doesn't rely on a traditional plot-driven narrative. It's more about these little moments, these snapshots of a father-daughter relationship that gradually reveal their weight as the film unfolds.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle, trying to make sense of their bond through these fragmented memories.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so relatable. We've all had those experiences where we look back on a past event and our perception of it has changed.
Colored by time and experience.
That's exactly.
Let's dive into the world of Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. What makes this film stand out from other multiverse stories, besides its unique indie vibe?
Well, for me, it's how they use the multiverse concept. It's not just a gimmick, a way to create cool action sequences. It's actually a metaphor for the overwhelming nature of choice.
Oh, I see. So it's more than just a visual spectacle. It's using that concept to explore something deeper about the human experience.
Exactly. The main character is literally bombarded with infinite possibilities, all these alternate versions of her life, and she has to figure out how to navigate that chaos and find meaning within it.
It's like they're taking this sci-fi concept and using it to tap into something very real about the human condition.
Right. The anxiety of making the right choices, the fear of missing out, those are universal experiences, and the multiverse just amplifies those feelings to an almost absurd degree.
And in Causeway, what resonated with you about the film's approach to portraying trauma and recovery?
What struck me was the realism. They don't sugarcoat the struggles of living with a traumatic brain injury.
It's an honest portrayal.
Yeah, it shows her struggles with memory, emotions, physical limitations, all of it. But at the same time, it also highlights those little victories along the way.
Those moments of connection and progress that give her hope.
Exactly. It's a reminder that recovery isn't linear. It's messy, it's full of ups and downs, but it's possible.
And the performances of Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry, they seem to have really captured those nuances.
They did. They brought such a raw, authentic vulnerability to their roles. I think that's what makes the film so powerful. It feels real.
It's amazing how these films can evoke such strong emotions, even with their different styles and stories.
Yeah, it's a testament to the power of independent cinema. They're not afraid to delve into the complexities of the human experience, to make us feel things, to challenge us.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype of the big blockbusters.
Oh, for sure.
But these indie films, They often offer something so much more profound.
They do. They're not afraid to dig deep, to explore those raw human experiences that sometimes get overlooked in those big studio productions.
It's like they're saying, hey, this is a story that needs to be told, even if it's not going to make $1 billion at the box office.
And that passion shines through, doesn't it? It's infectious.
It really is. And it's not just about the stories themselves, but the way they're told. The article talks about how these filmmakers use these innovative techniques, like with the cinematography or the editing, to really enhance the emotional impact.
Yeah. It's like they're pushing the boundaries of what film can be, experimenting with form and style to create a truly unique experience for the viewer.
I know I always walk out of an indie film feeling like I've learned something, not just about the characters or the story, but about myself and the world around me.
That's the mark of great storytelling, isn't it? When it stays with you long after the credits roll.
It does. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of indie cinema, what key takeaways would you say listeners should keep in mind as they explore these films?
Well, I think the most important thing is to go in with an open mind.
Be open to the unexpected.
Exactly. Don't expect the typical Hollywood formula,
Yeah.
Be ready to be challenged, to be moved, maybe even a little uncomfortable at times.
Embrace those feelings.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Try genres you might not normally watch.
Branch out.
Right. You never know. You might just discover your next favorite film.
And remember, these films are often made with so much heart, even if they don't have the massive marketing budgets of those big studio releases. So by seeking them out and supporting them, you're contributing to a really vibrant and diverse cinematic landscape.
Absolutely. So go out there, explore, and find your own hidden gems.
I think that's the perfect way to end this deep dive. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of independent film. We hope you've been inspired to seek out these films and discover the magic of indie cinema for yourselves.